Hey guys, it's your humble host, or kid if you prefer, so I'm back with a very quick rant. At least I'm going to try to keep it quick. So, for those of you who have been living in a box or not seeing what's been going on with the new Lightyear 2022 film, so newsflash, it did not have the opening that Disney intended. No surprise there, really. And this is actually one film that I'm actually kind of disappointed for because I actually wanted to see this film. I grew up with the Lightyear Star Command show and the animated movie that came out that the show continued off of. And because I know there's a big controversy also right now on top of the other garbage that Disney did of Tim Allen not being offered the role or being kicked from the role. I did like Tim Allen growing up. I watched a lot of his movies to show him improvement. He did a lot of the Santa Claus stuff. Obviously, he's known for Toy Story, Jungle the Jungle. So he was an actor I was very much aware of, as me and my family did watch a lot of his stuff growing up. And for a time, because I know there's some discrepancy and clash of information when it comes to him voice acting in the actual cartoon Lightyear of Star Command. When the animated movie came out, that had Tim Allen's voice, and originally that had Patrick Warnerburn, but he couldn't deliver the voice, or rather the emotion Buzz needed, so they went and grabbed Tim Allen. Now, I grew up with the cartoon Lightyear Star Command that had Tim Allen's voiceover. And the show just suddenly dropped off the air. So, like, a few years later, I remember it coming on, going like, oh, hey, I remember the show. Let's sit down and watch an episode because it's on. And then hearing Patrick's voice come out of it, which he did the voice for Mr. Barkins from Kim Possible, was a little bit weird for me. So I can't sit down and watch Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, the cartoon, with Patrick's voice. I just can't. It doesn't sound like Buzz. It sounds so freaking weird. And I did do a little bit of reading on this, how they wanted Tim Allen to represent the toy Buzz Lightyear, even though they had him do the animated movie, which was like awesome, and the cartoon episodes, because I grew up with the cartoon with Tim Allen's voice. It wasn't with Patrick's. And then a few years later, hearing Patrick Warnerburn's voice come out of Buzz, you're like, oh, I can't watch it. This is not Buzz Lightyear. Anyway, so there's a lot of people that say Tim Allen wasn't chosen for the role or was kicked out of the role because he's very much a conservative, which I highly respect. You don't see Tim Allen in a lot of shows or movies these days because he's an outspoken conservative. He's had his shows canceled, and I can't remember, because I don't watch cable anymore. I don't pay for it. I refuse to. Anything I watch these days is either live streamed or off of one of these streaming services, but that's even rare, unless hubby introduces me to something or a friend recommends something or I see something. I really don't watch TV anymore. So I can't remember what the latest show was that he had canceled because he was conservative and all that stuff. And so he's still very much a good actor. I can still sit down and watch his stuff. He kind of had, and this may be a weird thing to say, but he very much had a dad feel to him. And there's very few actors that I can sit down and watch, even in their old age, because they still have that feel for me that I'm like, yeah, no, your stuff is still funny. You've kept your humor throughout all these years. Not a whole lot of actors, because I've said this before on my channel. I don't have any female actors or actresses that I'm really drawn to or have favorites of. I just don't. Unless they're voice acting something, but even then, like, I don't care. That's just me. I've never really been drawn to actresses. Just really never. The only one that I really liked was Sandra Bullock, and then I want to say Kirstie Alley. But for her, the main movie that I kind of remember that I really liked her in had to do with the Olsen twins when they were really young, and that's pretty much about it. But with that being said, I could still sit down and watch Tim Allen and his stuff. So I would have loved to seen him as the voice of Buzz Lightyear, but I did recognize that this was going to be a younger Buzz Lightyear, and so this was supposed to be the beginning of Star Command and his journey and whatnot. So I mentioned the movie's supposed to be based off of the real Buzz, which the toy was based off of, and it's a little bit convoluted because it's supposed to be where Andy from Toy Story would watch the show, was supposed to be a fan of this new edition of Buzz Lightyear, because that's what I've been understanding, been reading about, is the 2022 Lightyear film was something supposedly that Andy would have been drawn to, which kind of wasn't the case, because if you guys remember the Toy Story lore, like how Buzz Lightyear was introduced, it was the cartoon. Buzz Lightyear Star Command with Commander Nebula, Booster, Zurg, and all that. So I don't know why there's somebody going, well, Andy would have been watching this rendition of Buzz, and it's like, no, because a lot of people are going like, well, that's even a little too dark for Toy Story, because it does have more of a darker theme, like even Zurg, who was very much a manic villain, and he did have some like dark moments in the animated movie as well as cartoon. But like, and I wanted to see this new interpretation of Zurg. I really did, because I saw like little glimpses of the Zurg bots and all of that. So I'm like, yeah, no, I want to see how they did Zurg, because something that really caught my attention about the new Lightyear movie is they kept his 3 barrels on his gun. And that's from Toy Story. So I'm like, hey, you know what? That's a nice little tip of the hat there. So I really wanted to see this. But on top of the stuff with Tim Allen, which I was willing to overlook, because like, okay, this is a younger version of Buzz Lightyear. Obviously, you're not going to have Mira, who is much younger. You're not really going to have Booster, because Booster was still kind of a kid. Even during the animated movie, he was a janitor, and I can't remember how long he had been a janitor at Star Command, but he wasn't that old. He very much was younger than Buzz Lightyear. XR obviously wasn't going to be around. I was hoping to hear something of Warp Dark Matter, Buzz Lightyear's partner, because it's like, hey, they went through the academy together. Let's have Warp. Apparently we didn't get that. We got 3 people, which I swear to God is for diversity's sake, surrounding Buzz, and I'm not against writing new characters, because this was supposed to be an origin story, and I know based off of the real Buzz, and all that, but it's just like, okay, you guys had something here, you had all these pieces, even with, because this is another issue I have, and this is what really freaking ruins movies for me, is when you have the freaking voice actors, actresses, and actors freaking spat off and start going after fans, calling them idiots, freaking trashing them. Every time I hear an actor or an actress do this shit, it's like, I don't want to watch your crap movie, because that tells me it's shit. Because the fact that you're going after fans and there's already all this controversy around it, like, Chris Evans could have kept his damn mouth shut. I know he was asked, well, how do you feel about the same-sex kissing scene, which, by the way, was only put back in to spite Ron DeSantis and his parents' rights bill, because parents do have a right to teach their kids what they wish, and they do have a say over their child's education. So, anyway, Chris Evans could have went, you know what, I understand a lot of parents are concerned about this scene, and I understand here's the reason why it was put back in, but it's not something I really want to comment on, because Chris Evans actually had, because I read this in an article, saw this on a YouTube video, Chris Evans actually had good things to say about Tim Allen, but unfortunately that's overshadowed by his mouth running and calling fans idiots. The good things he had to say about Tim Allen was he studied Tim Allen's voice work of Buzz Lightyear. Even took notes, tried to capture some of those things that Tim Allen provided, because The emotion behind Buzz Lightyear, Tim Allen very much added, it brought forth and very much fleshed out Buzz Lightyear's persona. Buzz Lightyear, because of Tim Allen's voice, could be funny, could be serious, could be sad. He had this wide range of emotions. And when paired correctly with his facial expressions, Buzz Lightyear was a really good character, and that was because of Tim Allen delivering the emotion properly when it was needed. As I said, going back to the discussion of the animated movie, Lightyear Star Command, that spawned the cartoon, Patrick Warburton could not deliver that emotion that was needed. There was one line in particular that they kind of decided, hey, Patrick, we're not going to have you do the movie, is when Buzz Lightyear is actually mourning over the death of his friend Warp Dark Matter. And the scene is pretty much to where Buzz Lightyear is deleting Warp's name off of a locker. And he goes, my partner, my friend, I work alone. And so there's a comparison side by side of Tim Allen doing the voice work versus Patrick Warburton. Patrick Warburton was going to do the movie, but they're like, we need more emotion. The way you deliver these lines make the scene comedic, and it just throws the entire scene off. So brought in Tim Allen, who again has a wide range of emotion to his voice. He just has one of those voices. And so that's just an example. So anyway, Chris Evans studied all that, because I'm sure he studied Toy Story, all the Toy Story movies, and Lightyear Star Command, the episodes Tim Allen did, as well as the animated movie. So the fact that Chris Evans had good things to say about Tim Allen should have been left at that. Chris Evans, because he even went further, saying that, oh, well, eventually this is going to be normal with the same-sex kissing. It's like, no, I'm sorry, that's not ever going to be normal. The culture shift is here, folks. You have more and more people speaking out against this crap. From Matt Walsh, the Heritage Foundation, which is now releasing studies of how kids having access to cross-sex hormones and puberty blockers actually ups the risk of suicide. No freaking shit. And I've said this multiple times on my videos, is look at the effects of birth control, which is synthetic hormones, which is what HRT, hormone replacement therapy, for trans people is. So, this is basic biology. When your body is out of whack, real quick, with its hormones, you gain weight, you go into depression. If it's really extreme, you can get suicidal. This is known science. This is basic biology. So, the fact that we have people saying, oh, well, yeah, no, now it's a problem because it's high risk of suicide. We now have people with balls and spine going, yeah, no, this is a problem. So, going back to the stuff with Chris Evans, going off into the weeds here. Chris is part of the freaking socialite, whatever freaking monkey house that say we're going to make this stuff normal and you people are going to deal with it. No, sorry. There's going to be pushback. And Buzz Lightyear, the 2022 film, freaking flopped up the thing. It had a budget of $200 million, which I'm actually surprised it wasn't more because of the graphics and all that stuff. It actually looked really freaking good. I was excited for it. But it's barely made anything back, and according to what I read, in order to recoup, in order for a movie to make money, not only does it have to meet its budget, it has to make double that. Somebody did a video comparing the box office openings of all Pixar's film, and Lightyear is down at the bottom. It didn't do as well as the past Pixar films. So it really sucks, because this is actually one I wanted to see, because I grew up with the cartoon, I grew up with Toy Story. I didn't have the toys really, my little brother did. But still, I actually found Buzz Lightyear to be a cool character, and the cartoon I thought was pretty cool. I like Mira, Booster, XR, the little green men. For those of you who don't quite remember what the animated movie was about, it was about Zord getting his hands on something called the Unimind. So it really sucks. A lot of the cartoons that I've watched growing up, when they do live actions, they always do something stupid with them. There was one live action movie I wanted to review, but I never got around to it. It was Kim Possible, I think Back in Action or something. It was a live action one, and they fucked that one up too, and there was so much stupid that was in that movie. I saw the clips and whatnot, and they tried to push girl power. If you guys remember the movie poster, that one fight scene where Kim Possible, Dr. Possible, her mom, and for some fucking reason, Nana Possible, you have Kim, you have her mom, and you have Nana, and then you have Ron just hiding in the background, breaking into the lab, Dr. Draken's lab, and I'm going like, okay, this is, what you guys are doing is garbage. It's freaking garbage. Anytime they push an agenda with these freaking live actions, it always turns out to be hot garbage, and they never do it again. Anyway, so, yeah. Major disappointment. I was actually hoping to kind of see this one for my birthday, but now it's just like, yeah, I don't want to watch it. It would have been cool if Disney didn't stick that same-sex kissing scene back in, and if Chris Evans had kept his damn mouth shut. One thing, and I guess Hollywood has yet even freaking learned this lesson, is if you want the fans to watch your movie, because this is where the freaking main comic book producers, they have yet to learn this freaking lesson too, and I think they're starting to catch on, is if you want your fans, your patrons, your customers to buy your stuff and overlook certain aspects of, say, the film and what's possibly being pushed in it and still enjoy it, keep your damn mouth shut. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to be attacked when we voice criticisms over the type of media that is being forced down our throats. I'm sorry, this is not what you guys are doing. This is never going to be normal. Nobody cares. Anybody with a rational brain and logic does not care what Biden just signed, the freaking monkey shit you guys want to push. Keep all of that out of your business, out of your production, because at that point, just so like you guys don't care about the fans, you just guys care about the agenda. For those of you who don't follow Clownfish TV, because I'm bringing them up, I would go watch them because they cover a lot of what they call dismal Disney episodes, where they talk about their stock. They cover a lot of other stuff too. From what I understand, Disney's stock is in the toilet and it keeps dropping, especially after what Bob Chapek just did by axing his potential successor, like Peter, I forget what the dude's last name is, which Bob Chapek is a fucking idiot, because like, oh hey, instead of listening to the fans and our actual patrons that actually, bring us money, I'm going to listen to my crazy ass employees that's costing us thousands and thousands, if not millions of dollars with their bullshit. So Netflix, because someone else brought this up in their video, is Netflix learned this lesson and did a freaking woke purge, which like, if you're nuts, you're out of here. Like, what was it? Netflix had an incident a few months back to where there was a meeting going on, I believe, with the board members or the management, and you had a bunch of woke employees storm the meeting and like, oh no, you're fired. Get the fuck out. We're done. We're done with your crazy asses. And Netflix is in the toilet too, and they actually just cut a lot of their animation department because they don't have the money. It takes 2D animation is far more expensive than 3D, because with the right discipline and talent, there's a lot more that goes into 2D than 3D. And for those of you saying I'm full of bullshit, go look at what Hayao Miyazaki or Studio Ghibli is still doing. That man still does 2D, and you can tell that they're mixing a little bit of 3D, but they're disguising it to look like 2D, because there's still very much a market for 2D. And then Disney, what's going to be their problem is they're probably I wouldn't be surprised if they have to axe their 2D department again, because they just recently brought that back, if I remember correctly. Quite a few years ago, they axed their entire 2D department, and this is after, I believe, like their major department, after Princess and the Frog, which didn't do too well, unfortunately. That was I actually liked that movie. It was kind of really cool. But they axed that entire 2D department, so a lot of the masters got kicked out after that movie, and then they've recently started to bring back their 2D department, but they're probably gonna have to freaking get rid of all that stuff again, because they're losing money, their stock is in the toilet. They keep trying to push all this woke shit, which nobody fucking wants. Like someone else had pointed out, and I'm actually gonna put his video in the link in the description. I actually have it still put up on my screen. The Black Conservative Perspective, where he talks about in his video that parents just can't leave their children alone with Disney stuff anymore. You can't, because you should be able to sit your kids down, and my parents, for the most part, the same thing, where they didn't if it came from Disney, my parents didn't have to comb through it and go, no, we don't want this, but you can't do that anymore, because we have children's shows, like, for example, the freaking Owl House, and I've talked about that on my channel before in regards to Christian media being lazy and not paying attention, because they're also agenda-driven, and they're not story-driven. But the thing with Owl House is you have two young girls who are around the ages of 13 to 14 getting into a same-sex relationship. Technically speaking, you shouldn't even be dating at 13 to 14 years old. That's when your hormones first kind of kick in, depending on a few variables. But that's about the range where hormones kind of start to kick in, and puberty and all that other stuff. So, but still. Owl House, as visibly as attractive as it is, because the art style was done well, the animation was done well, in my opinion. I've seen enough clips. But it's not something that any conservative parent or any logical parent would sit their kids in front of and go, oh, hey, we feel like this is safe enough for you to watch, only to come in the room and go, like, what the hell is going on? And there's a lot of parents who are touchy about how much magic is in the show, considering how Owl House actually had its inspiration from real witchcraft, Satanism, and spell books. Yeah, that was your thing. Now, this is not an argument whether or not you believe in that stuff. It doesn't matter, but if you actually dig into that stuff, that's not really something you want your kids exposed to, unless you're fucking psychotic. Sorry. But anyway, so I'm going to kind of wrap it up here, because this is 22 minutes and counting. But yeah, I'm just, God, the one sliver of hope I had for something out of Disney just freaking got shat upon. Because, of course, the voice actor Chris Evans had to open his mouth, who, from what I'm understanding, as a claim that he was a social Marxist. It was like, you play one of the most patriotic superheroes in the MCU. What? So, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised anymore. There's very few sane actors left that have learned to keep their mouth shut or understand partly of what's going on around them. Another actor, real quick, that I got disappointed in was Benedict Cumberbatch. He was Sherlock Holmes in the TV series, which I watched, which I did like, and then he is right now the actor for Doctor Strange in the MCU. So he's come out as a freaking male feminist. Start the countdown, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, like, it sucks to say that, but anytime you have a male feminist, like, there's always some sort of dark skeleton, a brick skeleton waiting to bust out of the damn closet. So I hope to God I'm wrong about him, but, like, I was so irritated when I heard that about him. Like, oh, yay, that just freaking tainted everything that I like about his stuff. Anyway, I'm going to end it off here. What are your guys' thoughts of Lightyear? And if I hadn't mentioned about Lightyear, because they stuck the same-sex kissing scene back in despite DeSantis, it got banned in 11 countries. That's gonna fucking hurt. And then I saw this video in passing. I need to watch it. I need to find it again. Is China trying to take Disneyland's theme parks in their country? That would actually be freaking hilarious if that's the case, and that would actually, in my opinion, give Disney kind of comeuppance, because they've tried to pander to China for so long, that now China, if it's true, is trying to go after their theme parks or trying to confiscate them. Mwah, be chef's kiss. Sorry, but oh god, the irony would be beautimous. Anyway, I'll end it here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.